Welcome back to the Business Book Club.
Great to be back.
So today we're doing a deep dive into a really practical one. Will it fly? How to test your next business idea so you don't waste your time and money. It's by Pat Flynn.
Yeah, it's a fantastic title because it gets right to the point. And this isn't really about just, getting excited and launching.
Right.
It's about building a proper foundation first, systematically, using data.
Shifting away from just like crossing your fingers and hoping it works.
Exactly. It's about learning, validating, and sort of de-risking the whole thing before you sink loads of time and money into it.
I really like that analogy he uses right at the start. Teaching his son about paper airplanes.
Oh, yeah.
You can't just crumple it up and throw it. You got to do the folds.
Those are the steps. The validation steps are those crucial folds. Without them, it's probably just going to nosedive.
So you launch with actual evidence, not just, blind optimism.
Precisely. And that very first fold, the absolute starting point, it has to be internal. It's what he calls mission design. Is this idea actually right for you?
Yeah, this really resonates because we all hear those stories, right? The entrepreneur who's like pulling in 20K a month, looks like success from the outside.
Ticking all the boxes.
But they're miserable. The business works, but their life feels empty or just draining.
That misalignment. It's a huge failure point that often gets overlooked. If the business succeeds but it doesn't fit the life you want, well, that's still a kind of failure, isn't it?
Definitely. So how do you check for that alignment? That's where the history test comes in.
Yes, the history test. Basically looking back at your past work experiences.
Okay, but hang on. Does grading old jobs A through F really help? I mean, every business has parts you don't like, right? Paperwork, maybe sales calls. Does this just tell you to avoid things you hate? How practical is that?
That's a fair question. It's not really about avoiding all the tedious tasks. I mean, that's probably impossible. It's more about finding the patterns. What kind of work consistently energizes you? What consistently drains you? When you grade those past roles and think about the specific tasks involved.
Ah, okay, so you see themes.
Exactly. Maybe you hate the admin, but you absolutely love, say, solving complex technical problems. So your future business needs to have that problem-solving element at its core. You're sort of stacking the deck in favor of what fuels you.
Gotcha. That makes more sense. It's about the core drivers.
Yeah.
Okay, so you pass that personal check. What's next? Differentiation.
Yep. Now you need to figure out what makes your idea and you stand out. This leads us to the shark bait test.
Sounds intense.
It is, a bit. It's framed around that tough investor question, like the ones you hear on Shark Tank. Okay, I could hire someone else to do this. Why you? What's so special about you?
Oof, yeah, that cuts right to it.
It forces you to identify your unfair advantage, your superpower, something unique that isn't easily copied.
And this is where people often stumble, right? They say things like, I'm a hard worker or I communicate well.
Those are important, but they're table stakes. Everyone should be hardworking. What's your unique edge?
Pat Flynn's own story is a great example here, isn't it? With his LED exam guide.
Perfect example. He wasn't the official body, the U.S. Green Building Council.
So he wasn't the authority. What was his advantage then?
It was his experience. He'd literally just struggled through that exam himself. He was relatable. People connected with that. They wanted to learn from someone who got the pain point, not some big faceless organization.
Ah, so the personal connection, the empathy. That was his unfair advantage. The official source couldn't replicate that feeling.
Precisely. And that ties into what Chris Ducker talks about, P2P, people-to-people connections. Your advantage helps build that trust.
The exercise for this one takes some courage, though, emailing friends and colleagues asking them what they think your superpowers are.
It does, but it's incredibly valuable for getting objective feedback and real clarity. You need that outside perspective sometimes.
Okay, so let's say we've done that. The idea aligns with me, and I have a sense of my unfair advantage. But the idea itself is still kind of fuzzy, just excitement in my head. How do I make it concrete?
Right. You need to get it out of your head and into a shareable format. That's the development lab stage.
Okay.
The main tool here is mind mapping, which he breaks down into 2 phases.
Phase 1 is just get it all out, the brain dump.
Yeah, exactly. No judgment, no filtering, just rapid fire ideas, connections, thoughts, everything related to the concept. Go wide.
And then phase 2 is the cleanup.
Switch gears into edit mode. Start organizing, grouping similar ideas, finding the core themes, creating some structure out of the chaos.
And all of that work funnels down into one sentence, the one-sentence goal. That sounds incredibly hard.
It can be tricky. People often get paralyzed trying to make it perfect or fit everything in.
Yeah, how do you actually do that? Squeeze potentially months of thinking into one line.
I think the key is realizing who the sentence is for. It's not really for you. It's a communication tool for getting feedback.
Mm.
If you can't explain the core value, who it helps, what result they get clearly and concisely, then how can anyone else understand it well enough to give you useful, honest feedback?
Okay, that reframes it. It's a tool for testing. So once you have that sharp single sentence, you move on to the audience. Flight planning.
Exactly. Flight planning. And the big mindset shift here is you don't need millions of customers.
Resist the urge to appeal to everyone.
Totally. The riches are in the niches, as they say. Narrow your focus. Serve a specific group really, really well.
This is where that 1,000 true fans idea comes in, right?
Yeah.
From Kevin Kelly.
Yes. Such a powerful concept. It makes it feel so much more doable.
Right. The idea is find 1,000 people who truly love what you do, your true fans, who'll buy basically anything you create.
And if they spend, say, a pretty conservative $100 a year with you.
That's $100,000 in revenue right there.
Exactly. It changes the goal from world domination to just being really important, really valuable to a specific group, being big in somebody's world.
So how do you find these potential true fans? That's the market map.
Yep, the market map. It's your research document. You're looking for the 3 Ps to define your crowd.
Okay, 3 Ps. Places. Like, where do they hang out online?
Forums, specific Facebook groups, subreddits, blogs they read. Where do they congregate?
The people. Influencers, authorities, people they already listen to.
Correct. Who do they trust in this space already?
And the third P, products. What are they already buying?
Yes. And this one is arguably the most important P. Why do you think that is? Why is knowing what they already pay for so critical?
Well, I guess it proves they actually spend money to solve this kind of problem. It's not just a complaint, it's a pain point they're willing to invest in fixing.
Bingo. It tells you 2 crucial things. 1, they have a budget for solutions in this area. And 2, they perceive the problem as being significant enough to warrant spending money. If you find a group complaining loudly but buying nothing related, maybe it's not a strong business idea.
That makes sense. Purchase behavior is real data. It is. So the market map gives you that context. It helps you build out your customer PLAN, understanding their problems, language, anecdotes, needs, especially the problem.
Right, like that Jay Abraham quote.
If you can define the problem better than your target customer, they will automatically assume you have the solution. It's so true. Nail the problem definition.
Okay, so defining that pain really sets the stage for the final big step. The flight simulator, the actual validation.
This is where the rubber meets the road, and the core principle shifts. Stop just listening to encouragement, start trusting the numbers.
Yeah, because positive feedback feels good, but it doesn't pay the bills.
Exactly. True validation needs a transaction. Someone saying, oh, that's a cool idea, I'd buy that.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice, but it's basically worthless as data.
We need Tim Ferriss's advice here, right?
Absolutely. Don't ask people if they would ask them to buy. That second response, the actual commitment, that's the only one that matters for figuring out commercial viability.
It forces the issue, moves it from hypothetical to actual financial commitment. Okay, so how does this validation process work? There are 4 steps.
4 key steps. First, you got to get in front of an audience. Could be your own email list, could be guest posting, targeted ads, whatever gets you visibility with the right people.
Second, hyper-target. This isn't broad outreach.
No, definitely not. This is about getting a specific hand raise. Identifying maybe 50 or 100 people who explicitly say, yes, I have the exact problem you're talking about. You need that confirmation.
Okay, find the genuinely interested few.
Oh.
Then step 3.
Interact and share your solution. This is where you build that KLT factor. Know, like, and trust. Educate them. Show your expertise. Build rapport.
And finally, step 4. The moment of truth.
Ask for the transaction.
Yeah.
Ask them to buy.
Simple to say, hard to do.
It really is, but it's non-negotiable. Let's look at Joey Korenman from School of Motion. His story illustrates this perfectly.
Right, he had an audience from his tutorials.
A small but engaged email list from YouTube and Vimeo, that was his starting point.
And he wanted to build this big, expensive animation course. How did he validate that?
He didn't just send a survey like, would you be interested? He was upfront. Send an honest email saying, hey, I'm thinking of building this course. It'll cover X, Y, Z. It's not built yet, but I need to know if there's real demand. I'm hosting a webinar to explain.
Okay, so transparency was key.
Totally. Then on the webinar, he pitched it and offered a pre-sale. Said, I need X number of people to commit now at this early bird price for me to actually build this thing.
And what happened?
Bang. He pre-sold 40 spots at $250 each. That's $5,000 right there in minutes before he'd created any course content.
Wow. That's not just money. That's undeniable proof people wanted it, and they were willing to pay.
It's pure validation. That cash is market proof. It shifts your mindset completely from, I hope this works, to, okay, people need this, let's build it.
And that conversion rate is the thing to watch.
Yeah, the target he suggests is around 10% conversion from your hyper-targeted group. So if you pitch 50 people who raise their hand, getting 5 pre-orders is a really strong signal.
That feels achievable, unlike trying to get thousands of sales up front.
Exactly. And think about the other benefits of pre-selling, like Joey did.
Well, you get feedback straight away, right?
Right.
From the people who actually paid. So you build what they really want.
You get practice selling, you get cash up front to fund the actual development.
And you've got paying customers waiting.
Yeah.
That's got to be huge motivation to actually finish it.
Absolutely. It removes the maybe and replaces it with data and commitment. It's just a smarter way to approach it.
So, wrapping this up,
Oh.
if someone listening is on the verge of launching their big idea, what are the absolute key takeaways, the essential folds they need to make?
Okay, 4 key things. 1, start with you. Mission design. Does this business actually align with the life you want? Be honest.
2, nail your unfair advantage. What's your superpower that others can't just easily replicate?
3, forget being massive overnight. Aim to be big in somebody's world. Focus on finding those 1,000 true fans in your niche. Use the market map.
And 4, the final boss, really, ask for the transaction. Remember, kind words are nice, but only a financial commitment truly proves your idea has legs. That's the data that matters.
Yeah, and the underlying philosophy here is so important. This process isn't about avoiding failure entirely. It's about failing smart, failing small, and learning fast.
Right, the only real failure is just giving up.
Exactly. If an idea doesn't get traction, if it doesn't validate with sales, it doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means that iteration missed the mark. You take the data, you adjust, you try again. It's iteration, not defeat.
That's a much healthier way to look at it. It's a process of discovery. Well, if this systematic approach gave you some clarity on testing your own ideas, definitely subscribe to the Business Book Club for more deep dives like this one.
We'll keep unpacking the frameworks that help you build smarter.
See you next time. Now, that's a wrap for this episode of the Business Book Club. If you enjoyed the ride, make sure to subscribe so you'll never miss our next deep dive. Got a favorite business book you'd love us to explore? Let us know. We're always up for a good read. And hey, don't keep all these insights to yourself. Share this episode with a fellow book lover or your work buddy who's always looking to level up. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next episode.